Spin-off! Is there any word more thrilling to the human soul? Well, today we will find out as I continue my Simpsons Season 8 reviews and look at episode 24, Simpsons Spin-Off Showcase. This was the penultimate episode of the season and first aired on May 11th, 1997. We open to Troy McClure leading us down a hallway in the Museum of TV and Television, filled with posters of spin-off series. Notably, he stops in front of the fish poster, perhaps because of his romantic abnormality. He poses the opening question of this video and introduces himself. You may remember him from such TV spin-offs as Son of Sanford and Son and After Mannix, which in actuality are both fake, despite Sanford and Son actually spawning 3 real spin-off series. Troy's here with a real treat for Simpsons fans, if any, as he presents the Simpsons Spin-Off Showcase. Exposition continues that the Fox network approached the producers of The Simpsons with a simple request: 35 new shows to fill a few holes in their programming lineup. Hilariously, pictured only are The Simpsons, The X-Files, which crossed over with the animated sitcom family earlier in the season, and Melrose Place. I have seen all 3 of these shows and really enjoy them all. Peak Melrose Place drama is literal insanity, and the 90s vibes are immaculate. In reality, Fox had multiple other shows on, many successful, such as Beverly Hills 90210, of which Melrose Place is a spin-off of, King of the Hill, and Married with Children. All 3 of these shows actually outperformed The Simpsons in ratings the week of this episode. So their programming lineup was in actuality not this daunting, but continuing with the episode, Troy McClure tells us the producers were not up to the task. He says, instead, they churned out 3 Simpsons spin-offs, transplanting already popular characters into new locales and situations. First up, a gritty crime drama starring Springfield's beloved police chief Wiggum. He continues with a line that my siblings and I still quote all the time. You'd be surprised at how applicable it often is. Keep at least one eye open, cause his best friends the Simpsons just might pop in to wish him luck. Picking up the golden TV remote, he himself wishes Wiggum luck, and we are blessed with the epic and silly opening to Wiggum P.I., co-starring Principal Skinner as Skinny Boy, along with Ralph, clearly spoofing Magnum P.I. and other similar shows. Carrying up boxes of magnifying glasses and trench coats, must-haves for any P.I., to their new New Orleans office are Wiggum and Skinner. After establishing their new locale, Skinner says what we're all thinking. I still don't understand, Clancy. Why give up your job as a small-town police chief to set up a detective shop in New Orleans? It has something to do with being kicked off the force for massive corruption. With no prompting, in true expositional fashion, Skinner takes the stage. As for me, I was born and bred here in the mean streets of Nolans. Oh, sure, I left briefly to take that principal's job in Springfield, but in my heart, I've always been a small-time hustler. This is such beauty, actually, the spoof of exposition and random, never heard before and likely contradictory lore drops that is consistent in television, perhaps specifically in spin-offs, when a lesser-known character is given a closer look. Just nod and accept it, whatever you say, Armin. Wiggum replies, I know. That's precisely why I hired you as my leg man, skinny boy. He tells him to put the word out. Chief Wiggum is here to clean up this crime dump. Wow, this show has a pattern of writing New Orleans pretty hard. Just then, a skull bursts through the window, with Skinner telling Clancy to mind new enemies, as this town doesn't take too kindly to law and order types. Cut to the Big Queasy, the Wiggum houseboat. Oh man, what a day, Wiggum exclaims. It's no cakewalk being a single parent juggling a career and family like so many juggling balls. 2, I suppose. Justice for Sarah, where is she? To be fair, it is kind of in line with shows, and especially spin-offs, to just forget or write off characters, expecting the audience to just accept it. It would also be for more intrigue. I remember as a kid finding it odd when I learned that so many shows chose to have single parents, often dads, just to showcase sexy younger women for them to date. By the way, there is an episode in The Simpsons season 32, number 17, entitled Uncut Femmes, all about Sarah Wiggum's background, where she was like a sexy criminal lady, in case you are interested, though apparently it isn't considered canon. Also, what timeline am I living in that I'm writing out the words, Sarah Wiggum was a sexy criminal lady? Cut to a lovely dinner of crayfish and red wine shared between dear Clancy and Seymour. They speculate on who may have thrown the skull. Well, to be honest, Chief, I haven't lived in New Orleans in 42 years. Although, according to an article I read in Parade magazine, a criminal by the name of Big Daddy runs this town. Replying to Skinner, Wiggum confidently states, well, he won't feel so big if he messes with Chief Wiggum PI again, which I sincerely doubt he will. Night falls, and indeed he is again messed with, Big Daddy dropping a gator into Clancy's boat. Skinner wrestles it, stating it was only a warning gator and the next one won't be corked. As Wiggum yells out onto the scenic waterfront of Nolans, telling Big Daddy he is 3 steps ahead of him, Skinner chimes in that his son has been kidnapped. Another quotable stim here as the PI proclaims, "Oh, God!" We see another skull, complete with a Big Daddy card, inside on Ralph's bed. Looks like we've got our first case ever, skinny boy, and this time, it's personal. Cut to a quick break. Chief Wiggum PI will return. Right now. In the office, the two gumshoes await a call. Wiggum picks up, asking who it is, to which Skinner replies, "It's me, Chief. I'm on the other extension." Just a stupidly silly joke, but very appreciated. Charles, Big Daddy, is the caller, with a kidnapped Ralph in tow. He tells the chief to leave town if he wants his boy back. Wiggum comments on how it sounded as if there was a party outside and asks Skinny Boy if he knows of anything. Nah, it's not really a party town. Though, if I remember correctly, they occasionally hold a function called Mardi something. The two open the windows to a massive Mardi Gras celebration in a joke that pays off, but again is so stupid. I feel like it's pretty well known that New Orleans holds huge Fat Tuesday celebrations, something an educated principal and former town resident would surely know. Anyway, with my suspenders of disbelief equipped, we move out into the party fray. Wiggum is confronted by some mask-wearing partygoers who turn out to be the Simpson family. If it isn't my old friends from Springfield, the Simpsons! They are in the Big Easy for Mardi Gras, and Lisa has the best, most stupid in the best way, and in line with this entire episode dialogue. Chief Wiggum, I can't wait to hear about all the exciting, sexy adventures you're sure to have against this colorful backdrop. He leaves them as he spots Ralph and Big Daddy. They have an epic chase scene with epic music from the streets onto the water with fan boats until they finally arrive at the stolen governor's mansion Big Daddy has taken residence in. After they confront the criminal, he replies, "Mon cher, New Orleans is my town. Won't nobody gonna mess with me. I got interests, and I ain't talking about stamp collecting, though I do find that extremely interesting." "Oh yeah? Well, that makes 2 of us," Skinner menacingly and stereotypically replies. Big Daddy throws Ralph at them in distraction and jumps out into the water to escape. Skinner goes to look. "He's gradually getting away, Chief." This segment closes out with Clancy saying, "Oh, let him go. I have a feeling we'll meet again, each and every week, always in more sexy and exciting ways." Ralph hugs his father and tells him he wants to be like him when he grows up. "Better start eating, kid," Skinny Boy interjects, causing uproarious laughter amongst the trio. "I didn't mean it that way." Back at the Museum of TV and Television, McClure is creeping on a statue's cleavage. Who are you, Jerry Seinfeld? He poses the question, could The Simpsons have ever maintained its popularity without Moe the bartender? Let's hope so, because Moe's leaving to do his own sitcom. But don't panic, he's taking a familiar sidekick with him. And his best friend Homer might just pop in to wish him luck. Another highly quoted line. Let's take a peek. It's an average night at Moe's Tavern, and the sole patron, Barney, finishes up a drink. He has to go as he has a date with the lady in front of the drugstore who's always yelling things. After Barney exits, Moe forlornly says, "She told me she was washing her hair tonight." He sighs, "Oh, I'm so desperately lonely." Cue the laugh track. There really is something so inherently funny about a laugh track being used inappropriately. The voice of Grandpa Simpson tells Moe to quit whining. Moe is shocked as Abe is supposed to be dead. Turns out he's come back as Moe's love testing machine. He's the love-matic grandpa. A fun little opening for this with different and cool animation commences. The lyrics are as follows. While shopping for some cans, an old man passed away. He floated up toward heaven, but got lost along the way. Now he's the love-matic grandpa, the wise Socratic grandpa. He'll fill our hearts with love. Wise Socratic grandpa goes hard, actually, and I remember as a kid thinking how tragic and sad it was for grandpa to have his heaven angel wings clipped by a plane. So instead of eternal paradise, he is stuck in Moe's love tester machine forever. Brutal. Maybe it's karma for being such a terrible father. LMG, the love-matic grandpa, as I may refer to him, tells Moe not to be afraid, that he is there and can help him with his romantic woes. Moe is offended by this, saying he doesn't need help from a pinball machine and that he wrote the book on love. Does this count as Moe being anti-AI? I'm kidding, of course. The love-matic grandpa has far more humanity than that. In reply to Moe, LMG says the book in reference must be All Quiet on the Western Front. Their banter continues a bit until LMG challenges Moe to prove his romantic skills by charming the next pretty young thing that walks through the door. Just then, the door opens to Homer Simpson, who soaks up the audience as he states his greetings. Abe appeals to his son, but Homer simply unplugs him and leaves. Moe brings his new electronic friend back online. That's the second time he's pulled the plug on me. A woman then walks into the bar asking for the phone. LMG coaches Moe through the interaction and low-key manipulates the woman using the love machine, telling her she is lovelorn and needs a man, that she needs Moe. They end up agreeing to go out for dinner, complete with classic cheesy sitcom lines. LMG ends up rambling about the Great War, and we cut to dinner at Les Snotteries. Moe wheels in the love tester machine and hides him in the bathroom so he can continue to get advice on his date. Alone in the bathroom, Grandpa says, "I've suffered so long. Why can't I die?" Which isn't even played for laughs, and there was not the expected laugh track in response. Just kind of dark and depressing. Moe and date Betty begin their evening, and Moe is the worst and says very inconsiderate things without even really realizing. This is probably just because Moe is socially inept and has a negative worldview, but it reminds me of a common phenomenon where insecure men love to put beautiful, confident women down just to make themselves feel better. If anyone you go out with, and I'm speaking to any gender here, ever puts you down or takes joy in upsetting you, run, don't walk. Moe heads to the bathroom where the local bullies are beating up the machine. Why are they even at this fancy restaurant at night, by the way? LMG malfunctions, causing trouble for Moe with humorous sitcom cuts. Betty enters the bathroom and Moe comes clean. "I ain't too good at talking to women, and I really wanted to do ya, so I brought along the love tester to help me. As you may have guessed, it's inhabited by the ghost of my friend's dead father." For whatever odd and toxic reason, Betty is impressed by this, and they share a kiss. A happy ending for this trio as the LMG seems to come back online and wants to meet the cute little payphone out front. That thankfully brings the segment to a close. It was funny and pointed out sitcom tropes, but I'm just not a big fan of either Moe or Grandpa. Though I do like Moe's storyline with his fiancée from what I remember. And yes, he is technically engaged, though Maya has not been highlighted much in the past couple of seasons. Their engagement was most recently discussed in the latest season, 37, in episode 4, Men Behaving Manly. Check it out if you're interested. Back to Troy McClure, one of the moments I actually laughed hardest at transpires. He is sitting across from another man and says, "Welcome back! I'm talking with the curator of the Museum of TV and Television, Mr. John Winslow." Right as the other man is about to talk, McClure just gets up and walks away with no acknowledgement. He continues, "In our final spin-off of tonight, the Simpson family finally gets the chance to show off the full range of their talents. Unfortunately, one family member didn't want the chance and refused to participate. But thanks to some creative casting, you won't even notice. Show us what you got, TV." Kent Brockman introduces us. "Live from Radio City Music Room in downtown Springfield, it's the Simpson Family Smile Time Variety Hour, featuring the Waylon Smithers Dancers and the Springfield Baggy Pants Players." I love both of those features. What a group the Baggy Pants Players are. One of my favorite things in The Simpsons is weird and random character groupings. Brockman continues, "And now, a family that doesn't know the meaning of the word canceled, The Simpsons." The family takes the stage and performs their first song. They each take turns introducing themselves, even creative casting replacement Lisa, who is, quote, Peppy, blonde and stunning, sophomore prom queen, 5 years running. So I'm sure this is a commentary on recasting, which is not a new phenomenon. It reminds me of two examples of this, showing the enduring nature of such tactics. In The OC, a main character, Marissa, was shown to have a younger sister, Caitlin, in season 1, but she was recast and aged up in later seasons so she could be included in the drama. A different kind of example, in Star Trek Voyager, the character of Kes was essentially replaced by Seven of Nine as more fodder for fanboys and a more visual appeal, amongst other reasons. Recasting and replacing and re-aging, and even revamping, are or were all common in television. But anyway, as a kid, I thought this version of Lisa was super cool, and I definitely didn't have a crush on her or anything. When we get to Homer, he's hiding in the band from the special ghost Marge told them they were having. Marge says she said special guest and introduces Tim Conway. Something I still randomly quote. Homer asks, "What's a Tim Conway?" The man himself takes the stage saying, "Oh, about 120 pounds." I am not body shaming, but I always thought that seemed very light for a full grown man. Also, I literally almost exclusively know Tim Conway from this Simpsons episode and nearly nothing else. Which I will speak a bit more to later, how this episode was a slight challenge for me, having numerous references that are before my time. The Simpsons finish up their first musical number, and we cut to a skit where they are living in a beaver ague, for some reason. Some beaver puns are included, my favorite being Bart asking his parents to close the damn door. After being admonished by Marge, he says, "But that's where we live, a damn." Tim Conway shows up as Homer's boss in this skit as a skunk. The next sketch of the Variety Hour is the family at a diner. Marge is reading the paper. Inflation, trade deficit, horrible war atrocities. How are we supposed to do our big musical number with so many problems in the world? Oh, Marge, you would hate 2026. Homer counters by saying he knows one thing in this world that's still pure and good. Marge asks, "Christian love?" Homer emphatically and accurately says, "No! Candy!" The family sans Marge then sings "I Want Candy." I love this sibling trio's peppermint twist rendition as well. We also see Jasper singing with a lollipop, and, the best part in my opinion, Smithers sings "Crack That Whip," "Licorice Whip," which lived rent-free in my mind for some reason. I have a specific memory of thinking of this scene and singing "Licorice Whip" while in my grade school cafeteria one day. So you can imagine how popular I was. The candy number concludes with all family members and more backup dancers, and they do their little ending fairies before a Hans Moleman poem. The segment ends with the family and Tim Conway in a giant bed. After some banter, Marge shakes her head and says, "We're like this all the time," and they wish us good night. To wrap up the episode, Troy takes us home. Now that we have seen the spin-offs, what about the original show? As he says, "How do you keep The Simpsons fresh and funny after 8 long years?" Back when 8 years seemed long. Honey, you've got a big storm coming. Also, legitimately rest in peace Phil Hartman. That was tragic, and he would have continued to add so much to the show over the years. I also somehow only learned about what happened to him this past year. The episode ends with supposed ideas for season 9. Magic powers. Wedding after wedding after wedding. And did somebody say long lost triplets? So join America's favorite TV family and a tiny green space alien named Osmodiar that only Homer can see on Fox this fall. Osmodiar is my spirit animal, and without exaggeration, one of my favorite Simpsons jokes and characters. Also, obviously, he is spoofing the Great Gazoo from the Flintstones. Troy and Osmodiar wish a good night to America, and that's all, folks. Revisiting this episode made me realize how important it has been to me and how damn much I quote it. I like episodes with unique setups and explorations. It was like a non-scary treehouse of horror. I also realized just how great each segment was in regards to commenting on the state of television. I don't quite know how to describe this, but it just really emphasized a lot of tropes in humorous but also not in your face ways. I love the through line of Troy McClure and his general demeanor. The tongue-in-cheek dialogue, the schmaltz, and the general dorky silliness of this episode is greatly appreciated. Over the top satire is epic in its own right. As I mentioned, there were certain things that weren't 100% intrinsically understood by me, simply due to my age and interest, or things that I knew were referencing something, but I didn't have the original source material for in my brain. For example, I never watched 1960s and 70s variety hour shows like The Brady Bunch Hour or Sonny and Cher, so the little cutaway gags and such were, while still funny, not fully understood or appreciated. A slight struggle I have had for certain media, such as The Simpsons or Mystery Science Theater 3000, or anything really that predates my existence and conscious understanding and absorbing of the world, is that there are references I do not understand. I did not inherently remember getting Parade magazine as a Sunday paper insert, so it could have been made up for all I knew. However, it does still exist, though virtually these days. And perhaps it's still stuck in the 90s. But when this happens, it is always a good opportunity to learn more and go on ADHD research spirals. And I think it speaks to the strength of the comedy of The Simpsons and of MST3K that I could enjoy them as like a literal 6-year-old with limited historical and cultural understanding, and then continue to understand and realize and appreciate jokes and references more the older I get and the more media I'm exposed to. Beyond that, I don't have too much to say. This is a top episode for me, and I fully recommend rewatching it. I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and am curious which Simpsons seasons or episodes are meaningful for you. I will continue to sporadically review The Simpsons in tandem with my other video interests and efforts, so consider subscribing if that's something you are interested in. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time for more sexy and exciting videos.